'Tis be the year 2022. How in the world have I never played an Uncharted game? Can I even call myself a real gamer?
You, Mr. YouTuber Twitch guy who's never played Uncharted, you're not a real gamer.
You know, to an extent, I agree. In the same way that I would judge a hardcore RPG fan for never playing Skyrim, I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's okay that I got this far without playing and beating an Uncharted game. But I can finally say I have beat Uncharted 1. And I mostly did it because the movie's coming out and I wanted to, you know, it gave me a good excuse to finally do it, okay? So here are my thoughts on Uncharted Drake's Fortune right before the movie's gonna come out.
And so our story begins.
So yeah, no, I ain't trying to fiddle your geese. What do I think of the game? Does it make sense? Is it appropriate to call it a staple in gaming history? Should I consider it a classic and put it amongst the other classic games? Some of these games I played well after their time, but still I consider them among the classic games that every gamer must at least give a shot. The Mass Effect series, the God of War series, and now I get to put the Uncharted series. Yes, I do. I consider it a classic. I really enjoyed the game. Big surprise. But how does it compare to newer games? Is it really worth going back and playing? Well, let me hit you with the visuals. I was actually really surprised with how good this game looks, considering it is a PS2 game that came out in 2007. 15 years it's been since this game originally came out.
Look at the pretty view. Hello? With the cool view, hashtag screenshot time?
Is it the most beautiful looking game in the world? No. Would you consider it again? Would you look at it and say, oh yeah, this game came out in 2022? No. Could I say that it is one of those games that looks timeless? Such as Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Castle Crashers, or even the Borderlands series? No. Because at some point, and we may have gotten to that point,
people are gonna look at this game and ask themselves, I wonder when this game came out. And again, this doesn't mean that the game looks bad, I just mean with games like Borderlands, look at the first game in the series, look at the second game in the series, look at the third game in the series, and literally look at the newest game that hasn't even come out yet. Comparing it to the first one that has been remastered, you don't really see many differences. Other than the colors popping out a little bit more in the newer games, Borderlands 1 looks great. Now look at the remastered game for Uncharted 1, and look at Uncharted 4. That is the only reason why I can't say that this game's visuals are timeless, but they are not bad by any means.
So you get what I'm saying. No, the game doesn't look absolutely amazing and it's not timeless when it comes to its visuals, but holy smokes, for a PS2 game that came out in 2007, it looks solid. Now, what really gripped me into this game that made me say, wow, I like it? I would have to say there's a combination of the music, the environment, the story, and actually the overall gameplay.
What I mean by this is, for some games like The Last of Us, when I'm done with The Last of Us, I walk away thinking this game has one of the best stories I've ever played. The gameplay's nice, the visuals are nice, but what sticks in my mind is the story. This game is different. This game, what makes it so beautiful is everything coming together in just the right way. I can't pick one thing that I like more than the other. It's the combination of everything.
The music, straight bangers. Although it can be a little bit odd sometimes, I found the music adding to my experience. I loved it.
Wait, he's not a sniper. Oh. There we go. Did you hear that? That was really funny.
Have any of you ever seen Survivor? I'm a huge Survivor nerd. The music gave me huge Survivor vibes.
Faster, faster, follow that rail, follow that rail. You're doing awesome, follow that rail.
Bruh. Tony goes crazy and knocks his balls all over the place.
And with this game setting being so focused on the outside world, nature, waterfalls, greenery, I think this game did a fantastic job at putting the music in with the right scenario. Now take all that and add in a solid storyline with some really strong characters, you have yourself a timeless classic. Let's focus a little bit more on the story. Now, is this story going to absolutely blow your mind and do something that no other game has ever done before? Maybe not, but that definitely doesn't mean that we have a really solid story here that kept me engaged. Especially when going back to old games, I put the bar really low and don't really get too excited about the story or the visuals because I'm like, that's something that I've
Probably seen better of nowadays.
But I was really pleasantly surprised with this. So let's talk about the main character. You have Nathan Drake, who, you know, he's young, he's kind of silly, you know, he's not afraid to have them wise cracks.
Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood.
Love this guy. So this guy's actually a strong enough character to be able to just have a whole story where it's just him the entire game without needing the support of any other characters. And while there are segments of the game where it is just him, when you bring in characters like Sully and you bring in characters like Elena, it just makes the cast that much stronger and adds so much more to the game. What's not to love about Nathan Drake? He reminds me of one of my favorite characters in Marvel, Spider-Man. While Nathan Drake can be serious, he also just kind of like messes around and has these witty comments when he's fighting enemies. They're just funny. He's someone that you take seriously, but he's also someone that you kind of laugh at.
I can't leave you alone for a minute, can I? I had everything under control until they blew up the boat.
Well, come on.
Thank you. Hey!
So that's it. You're just gonna forget about the treasure and forget about Drake?
God damn it, this is not worth dying over.
Okay. Okay. Listen, either way, we have to head back to the harbor. Don't worry about it. We can argue about it later. It'll be great.
Wait. This time, I drive.
Okay.
Elena was pretty dope. I love the relationship between Nathan Drake and Elena, and honestly just seeing it develop. Starting off the game with him literally just leaving her on an island without saying anything, to risking his life to save her like she's his everything. It worked too. It wasn't like I was just like, why do you suddenly care about her so much? Like you got to kind of see the progression of their relationship throughout the game, and that's what made that relationship so real. Now I know Sully's a big character and he's in the other Uncharted. In this one I didn't feel like he had too big of a role. I was more entertained and more invested into Elena's relationship with Nathan. That Sully's relationship with Nathan, it was still good, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it. I'm just excited to see how much more that's gonna develop in the later game. But I love Sully as a character, his classic mustache. While I want to say that he's a very stereotypical character, you know, the classic old guy, the old guy and the young buck, you know, something you've never heard about before. I loved it. I loved it, I loved it, I loved it. So yes, I think this game does pass the test to say this game could be turned into a movie and be something amazing. I will talk more about the movie stuff later. For now, let's focus on the game review.
Before we move on to the gameplay, one last thing I'd like to talk about the story is the big twist. Spoilers, I guess. It's kind of a surprising thing that I really loved, but I have to include in this review. So, yeah, sorry. The big twist when like the freaky zombie looking Wendigo things pop out at us. What? What?
The zombies?
This game has paranormal stuff?
Hey, get back here.
What the fudge is that thing? What the?
Oh, crap.
What the balls is this? Oh my! What is this? I thought this game was completely non-fiction. Like, I don't know, up until that point, everything that could happen in that story was really real. Adding in this extra supernatural layer that came out of nowhere for me, I loved it. Looking back on it now, there are some early parts in the game where it alludes to there being some supernatural stuff going on, but I didn't quite catch it at the moment. I had my suspicions, but I honestly threw those out the window because I'm like, this isn't that kind of a game. I love the twist. It made for some exciting moments, and at some point I was like, what? When did this game turn into a scary game?
Oh, shit.
Hello? 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 Mr. Zombie Man? Mr. Zombie Man that won't die with just headshots?
Here we go.
This game just turned into a horror game. Like, it straight up just went treasure hunting, exploring, killing normal humans. Horror. There we go. Oh! Dude. Do you see in between his legs? Just wanted to say that before I move on from the story. Alright, let's move on to the
gameplay. The most important part, and maybe everyone would argue, especially for this game, maybe. It's a solid shooter. If you play it on a harder difficulty, you have to pay a lot more attention to your inventory management. You can't just go around shooting willy-nilly. That's something that eventually they implement really well into games like The Last of Us. But it's something that I already found in this game to be a little bit annoying when I was trying to go for the platinum back for it a couple of years ago. This game ain't no joke. This game ain't no joke. Again, back when I had my problem of wanting to 100% every game, that is why I hadn't beaten Uncharted, because I really wanted to get that juicy 100%. But that required difficulty trophies, and Even though I got a little bit more than halfway through the game with that highest difficulty, I found myself getting too mad at this game being too hard for me to fully complete on that hardest difficulty. But that's the good thing. I was able to play this game in between easy and medium and just have a good time with it. In those difficulties, I never felt like there was a time where anything got too hard. One of the only downsides about this game, which other people don't have an issue with, this is just a really personal thing. I'm not into puzzles. It personally just stops the flow of the game for me. But even then, I don't think the puzzles were too crazy hard. Some maybe were, some maybe weren't. I'm just grateful that we live in a day and age where if there's ever a puzzle, I can just go onto YouTube and look up what I'm supposed to do. But if you like puzzle challenges, there's enough in this game for you to have a good time. And if you don't worry. The internet exists and you shouldn't struggle too much. The only thing that might happen is, like I said, it'll take you out of the game at some points. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about the gameplay portion. It all flows together really well. Again, it's a good game. I enjoyed it. I didn't really personally find it too buggy at all. Would I play it again? Maybe, but I think the good thing is this is just the first game in the series, so why would I replay this one if I get to play all the other ones to come? So that pretty much does it for my Uncharted Drake's Fortune review in 2022. Would I recommend it to just anyone? Probably not. I'd have to get to know the person. If there's someone who likes an action adventure game with a solid story and solid shooter gameplay, third person view of course, yeah, if they don't really fall under that category, you know. So how do I feel after having played this game for the very first time, completely blind playthrough, and then watching the trailer for the new movie that's about to come out with Tom Holland? Which, by the way, that's actually kind of funny that I mentioned how Nathan Drake reminds me of Spider-Man and Tom Holland, and Tom Holland. Yeah. As a newcomer to the series, when I'm looking at this trailer and I'm about to watch this movie, how do I feel about it? What are my initial thoughts? If you'd like to see what I have to say, click on the video that's popping up here. I do a quick little reaction video where I watch the trailer, kind of break it down and seeing what it's like to analyze this trailer after having just beat the first game in the series. Do I need to beat more games in the series? Is it enough to just play the first one to understand everything that's happening in the trailer? All of that and more, but please go click on the video. Anywho, I did end up streaming this game with my girlfriend on Twitch, the entire thing. Actually, during one of the streams that we did for Uncharted, she ended up putting makeup on me. It was a whole thing. It was a whole challenge. If you all would like to see me play this game, I have the entire playthrough on my channel. Go down to the description and click on one of the first links that you'll see. That is a link to the entire playlist for my whole full playthrough. Anyways, now I'm done shouting myself out. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I am glad to have you here. Thank you so much for watching. Anywho, I love you, Wolfpack. Don't forget to leave a like, don't forget to leave a comment, and do not forget to subscribe to one of the most amazing YouTube families out here. And on that note, I will see you all next time.